In this week's episode, we are going to discover the ancient city of David. The city of David, the birthplace of Jerusalem, where history, archaeology, and faith are all intertwined. Located just south of Jerusalem's old city of today, along a ridge between the Tyropoeon and Kidron valleys. This ancient hilltop is not just a place, it's a living, breathing testament to the stories of kings, prophets, and miracles, as well as the people who walked these very streets thousands of years ago. In this episode, we'll journey deep into the past, exploring groundbreaking excavations that have uncovered remnants of King David's palace, underground passageways, and artifacts that bring biblical history to life. From the first digs in the 1800s to the cutting-edge discoveries happening today, the city of David remains one of the most excavated and significant sites in the entire world. And to guide us through this incredible journey of connection, spirituality, and discovery, we are joined by one of the city of David's expert guides.
I'm Franny Weissman. I am an expert tour guide here in the city of David and in Israel.
And together, we'll go underground to uncover the secrets hidden beneath Jerusalem's modern streets and to walk in the footsteps of those who shaped history. So let's head on over to the city of David.
I grew up in Tennessee, the Bible Belt. When I came to Jerusalem, it all lit up. Just experiencing a land that is so tiny and that holds everything, and deeply as a Jewish woman, coming and being able to open up the biblical scripture and see it. Amongst the thousands of finds that we have, that we can date, I think that some of the most important ones give us not just a window into who was here, does it match up, but it's a human story. When it's being pulled out of the earth, then this happened. These people were here. Their stories were here. The creation of the people of Israel started here. Our roots are here. And I think that the most powerful thing for me as a Jewish woman who was born in Tennessee is that I'm living a life that is a prophetic one. Jerusalem was founded by King David to unite the entire people of Israel. His son Solomon built the temple, which is called the House of Prayer for all nations. It is literally a city that unites the world, and it's beautiful to see that now, 2025, we're sitting in the ancient city of David, and we can hear the Muslim call to prayer, and we're just a hop, skip, and a jump from one of the most important churches in the world, and every single person that's here still has total freedom to be united around this city, something that started 3,000 years ago, and I think that's incredible. And to be able to be here and see so many people from all faiths and backgrounds come to this site and get excited about the ancient stories that we're seeing still unravel today, there's literally nothing like it in the entire world. We are here at the city of David, the ancient site of Jerusalem, the place where 3,000 years ago, King David created the first undivided and united capital of Israel. From this lookout, we can see a beautiful 360 view of Mount Moriah. Mount of Olives, Mount Zion. And on top of biblical Mount Moriah today, you can see the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the third holiest mosque to Islam in the world. And that mosque is standing on what is called today the Temple Mount. Why? Because on Mount Moriah stood both the first and the second temples, Solomon's temple and later the renovated Herodian temple. Today, when we look at the Temple Mount, we see the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the Dome of the Rock, a complex that still brings millions of people from all over the world, and this was the top of the ancient city of Jerusalem. And that really isn't where biblical Jerusalem actually is. You can't understand what ancient Jerusalem is unless you kind of expand out. Up until 1867, if you would have wanted to find or connect to ancient Jerusalem, it would have been up in the Old City. In 1867, this hill that is ancient Jerusalem was totally and completely covered in dirt, covered in fields, and no one knew of its existence, to the extent that the Ottomans, when they built the wall of the Old City, they completely leave out ancient Jerusalem. Now, what happens in 1867? Queen Victoria, Queen of England, she sends a man by the name of Captain Charles Warren, otherwise referred to as the Worm, because he was just known for digging hole after hole, shaft after shaft to find things. And where does she want him to dig most? On the Temple Mount. Now, that is a totally taboo place. There's absolutely no digging there because of the political sensitivities and religious sensitivities. And he comes there and he's unable to dig on the Temple Mount. So he starts to dig around the Temple Mount. He starts digging these deep shafts. The Waqf absolutely is not impressed or excited about this, and they kind of kick him out. Now, he's left in this situation where he's been sent to Israel to dig, and he can't dig where he's supposed to dig, so he goes down, walks down the Kidron Valley. He's got to find something impressive to bring back to the Queen of England. And he's kind of like washing his face at the Gihon Spring, and he notices that right next to where the water is coming out of the earth, it looks like there's a tunnel there that's been, filled up. So he starts digging around the spring, and he finds a shaft about 50 feet straight up. And this is actually a natural shaft, not an archaeological one. It's a natural shaft that happens in limestone and water, natural erosion. But he climbs up this 50-foot shaft, and he discovers at the top of it a whole system of Canaanite tunnels, 4,000-year-old tunnels. He's pulling out of the earth ceramics, little figurines from 4,000 years ago. And he's fascinated by it because it's a massive tunnel system. He digs through it, gets to the top, and he's kind of just in the middle of these fields outside the walls of the Old City, and that's where everything begins. From that moment on, 1867, until today, 150 years of archaeological excavations from all over the world. Every single layer of history of Jerusalem, dating back from the time period of King David himself, who comes and creates this place as a capital city of Israel, all the way through the Babylonian conquest, the Persian conquest, the Greek conquest, the Hasmoneans, the Romans, of course Herod, a lot of Herod stuff, the early Muslim time periods, the Crusaders, even the British. All of it is here and is being uncovered every single day. Every minute of every day, we are uncovering this history. Ever since 1867, this tiny little hill has turned into the center of ancient Jerusalem and where everything began. And one of the most important parts of ancient Jerusalem is its connection to the temple above. Now, that doesn't start with David, it ends up starting with Solomon, his son, who's going to build the temple. But for generations, going up to the temple, you had to go up to the temple in a state of purity. So when you come to the city of David, all the way deep down in the valley, there is that Gihon spring, the only spring that's here, the same one that Captain Charles Warren evidently finds the city of David through. That spring, at some point, is going to be diverted to what will become the most important pool in the city of Jerusalem. The Pool of the Siloam, I would say, is front and center in the newest archaeological digs that we're finding today. Where I'm sitting right now in 2004, there used to be a road, and in that road a sewage pipe that exploded due to a storm. Now, when they're fixing a sewage pipe here in Jerusalem, you must have an archaeologist on site to make sure they don't ruin any ancient things. Eli Shukron, the archaeologist, is watching them dig, and he hears the scraping, and he says, wait a minute, guys, we gotta dig here. They move the road, we start to dig. And what he finds is absolutely incredible. He finds this magnificent 2,000-year-old staircase. Now, immediately we see the staircase and we think of another staircase that is identical to this one, or almost identical, all the way up top at the top of the hill, adjacent to the southern wall of the Temple Mount. There must be a connection, right? We'll get to that later. What we end up finding is that these stairs here are the steps of the famous Pool of the Siloam, a pool that was probably the most important site in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago, aside from the temple. Why? 3 times a year, all of the inhabitants of this region and even abroad would come to do pilgrimage to the temple. And you can't just walk into the temple. You have to start by purifying yourself, and they would come to this pool, immerse, and walk up to the temple. Now, I'm sitting on these steps and I'm watching them currently dig this pool. Unfortunately, I can't show that to you. It's top secret. But if you come here and sit on these steps, you can watch them uncovering some pretty miraculous things. When Eli Shukron can't actually dig the full Pool of the Siloam, he starts to dig this way. And what does he find? Well, let me just show you. Follow me. So he's digging and he finds a tunnel, an underground tunnel, a drainage tunnel. And that tunnel leads him all the way up the mountain to the Western Wall. And then you're like, wait a second, what is this tunnel, Western Wall? We discover that this was a drainage tunnel, and on top of it is actually the pilgrimage road, meaning from the Pool of the Siloam, where people would go and purify themselves before going up to the temple, they would then walk up the pilgrimage road. And right here behind me, these are original steps of the pilgrimage road. But the drainage tunnel itself isn't just a drainage tunnel. This was also the place where the last rebels against the Roman army, year 70, who destroyed Jerusalem, they snuck out of the city and tried to escape. And they brought with them coins and food, sometimes, things to write. Josephus writes that the last Jews of Jerusalem are sneaking under the road, but the Romans figure this out. They break through the road and they kill every last one. And we're uncovering this road. Come take a look what you can see. You can actually see big breaks in the road. All of these lit areas, these are huge sledgehammer breaks. And we even have some pots that people would sneak into the road and bring with them. You have the Pool of the Siloam. You would come from all over the world, immerse in the pool, spiritually cleanse yourself, and then walk up the pilgrimage road that had shops on either side, all the way up to what is now Temple Mount and what used to be the Holy Temple. And soon when we finish our excavations, you'll be able to come and actually start at the Pool of the Siloam and walk up the pilgrimage road all the way up to Temple Mount. We can't walk up the entire thing today, but if you come here tomorrow, I can show you a little piece of it. So let's go see that. And this really tells the story of Jerusalem, a 3,000-year-old city founded by King David, later to be destroyed by the Babylonians, the return of the Jewish people, and then the destruction again in year 70 by the Romans. And now we're standing here in the modern state of Israel, and you can come and visit a site that has layer after layer of history and really get your hands dirty. In fact, we're standing here, but I really want to take you to get our hands dirty, because if you come here, you should also go to a place where you can sift through the ancient stones that we're digging up here every single day. And maybe we'll find some things there that have to do with these tunnels. Who knows? Let's go. On the Mount of Olives today, there is the sifting project, the Temple Mount Sifting Project, Emek Tzurin. It is the Bar Ilan University and the City of David working together to sift through this archaeological gold. Dr. Gabi Barkai and Tzachi Dvira are the ones that founded this. Some of it is just curiosity, kind of like a treasure hunt. We're sifting through to see the things that we would find. And when you come here and get your hands dirty, you, your kids, your friends, and you're finding coins, and you're finding mosaics, you're finding bones, you're finding gemstones, there is that feel of a treasure hunt. But more than that, this is the first time in history, for thousands of years, that we have archaeological research about the Temple Mount, what it looked like, who was actually there. Does this match up with the biblical story? And I think that's one of the reasons that this site is so unique and so incredible. Behind me right here is biblical Mount Moriah. Up until 1990, it is absolutely forbidden to dig or excavate on Temple Mount for these sensitivities. But in 1990, the Muslim Waqf want to expand the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And what do? They do a dig without archaeologists, without any documentation, and almost 400 truckloads of holy ancient dirt are poured into the valley below, the Kidron Valley. But we're not just gonna let almost 400 truckloads of brilliant archaeological evidence from Mount Moriah and the temples just sit in the Kidron Valley forever. So we're going to go to the Mount of Olives, to a place where we're sifting through the archaeology. It started out sifting through archaeology from the Temple Mount and expanded to even sifting through archaeology from the City of David. Let's go see what we can find there. It's going to be exciting. What a gorgeous day. This is such a beautiful entrance to something so spectacular. Like, it's absolutely stunning here. And then we're gonna go in and see something that is so historically exciting that we get to be hands-on part of, and you get to be hands-on part of. And that is really why the City of David is the must-see site when you come into Jerusalem. So here at the Emek Tzurin Sifting Project, literally uncovering incredible things. Now it looks like there's just all these buckets of dirt behind me that they're pouring in and pouring water on, but this isn't dirt. It's actually history. In fact, some of the most amazing things that I can show you, top secret, right, that we found here connect to where we were. At the pool of the Siloam, at the underground drainage tunnel, there have been incredible finds. For example, these incredible coins, actually this coin is an ancient coin from 2,000 years ago. And it says on it, year 4, and on the other side it says, Geulat Zion, or the redemption of Zion. These are the zealots who are hiding away, trying to escape Jerusalem in the drainage tunnel 2,000 years ago, and they are fighting for the freedom of Zion. What I'm holding in the other hand is actually its newer version. This is an agora, or like a cent, less than a cent, from the 1990s, and it has an exact replica of this very coin. New Israel, modern Israel, I would say maybe a free Israel, what these people 2,000 years ago were waiting for, and both of them come together here at Emek Tzurin. Also, we talked about destruction. This is a stamp of the 10th Legion, the Roman 10th Legion that is going to destroy Jerusalem. And it's almost like it's saying hello from the ruins of that destruction. Another really cool thing that I can think about or show you are, we can really see how like things evolve in different time periods. We have two different lamps. Which one do you think is older? I'll tell you. This one, this lamp goes back to the first temple time period. This looks like just a nice piece of pottery, but this is actually ancient electricity. You would fill this up with oil and stick a wick right in here, and this would give them light. Now, this is its newer brother from the second temple time period. Difference? I don't know, hundreds of years, and we can see how technology has evolved. So even though these buckets behind me just look like buckets of dirt, really, they tell a story. And when people come here, you get to get your hands dirty and maybe find some of the most exquisite gems of Jerusalem history. This is also an awesome place for kids. We have all these like fun things, and you just need to come here with your family. It's like a family experience. Okay, we are here on the Tayelet, the lookout over Jerusalem, and one of the coolest things you can do in the city of David is see the views of Jerusalem on a Segway. We went to Archaeology, we went to the pool of the Siloam, but here in Almon HaNetziv, you can go on a Segway looking at the most incredible views of ancient Jerusalem. We're gonna go on into this building and see another really cool extreme attraction you can see. We're kind of connecting to the past while doing really new, innovative, futuristic, extreme sports. Yada. Almost 4,000 years ago on this lookout, perhaps Abraham stood and looked out on Mount Moriah on his way to do the binding of Isaac. I think after our day, we've been to the pool of the Siloam. We've sifted through some of the archaeology hands-on and up close. It's a great place to stop and look at perspective. Behind me, you have the whole holy basin, ground zero of all spirituality, the old city, the city of David, Mount of Olives, really where it all began. But also over my other shoulder, we have this really amazing building, and inside this building is one of the most fantastic zip lines that you can do in the entire world, because you are going to zip line 531 meters while looking at this view. And honestly, can't do that anywhere else. So let's go try it. I am so excited. If you're afraid of heights, then this is the place to learn how to not be afraid of heights, because it's the best zip line in the world. I'm really excited about this. Let's do it. That was awesome. So much fun. Whew. I want to do it again. The city of David is also developing an incredible way to see the city 3,000 years ago from today. You can see the city transform into what it looked like during every single time period of Jerusalem. I think it'd be the only way to get a glimpse into the past without time travel.
Welcome to Land of the Bible. Today we are in Jerusalem, at the Kotel, at the Western Wall, and we're about to enter into the Western Wall tunnels. We're going to tell the story of Jerusalem, we're going to tell the story of the wall, and we're going to see why this place is so special for so many.
Thank you for being with us here on Land of the Bible. Thank you to the City of David for allowing us to have this fun journey. And remember, next time you're here in Israel, you must come visit with your own feet to the City of David to see where everything began and connect to our biblical heritage. See you then.